Welcome to this tutorial video for the Swift Pilot client, and in this episode we will talk about creating aircraft model mappings. So what do you need this for? Let's have a look at a specific use case. So I just installed the livery for my flight factor Boeing 767-300 and I want to use it for Fly Online. Here's the Swift GUI. And this is the connect page, and if I look at my own aircraft box here, I see there is a yellow frame around my model. So model is the aircraft that Swift has detected in the simulator, the aircraft that you are presently using. And this box can have three different stati. Number one, it's a red frame. Red frame means Swift was not able to connect to the simulator. It was not able to read anything out of it. Yellow is this. It was able to read the model, but it does not have this model in its own database. And green means the aircraft was detected in the simulator, and as well it was matched to an existing model entry in Swift's database. What do we need it for? It's a convenience item in this case. Convenience because apart from the call sign that you have to enter each time or modify each time you fly, if your aircraft gets fully detected, then these fields for the aircraft type, the type of plane, and the airline livery, they get filled in correctly automatically. As you can see, this is not a Boeing 737-800 and it's not American Airlines. Definitely not. The only thing that is correct, that's from a previous aircraft that I had loaded, it's a land aircraft with 2 engines and DJ is jet engines. Alright, so what can we do about it? We can map the aircraft. There are 2 ways to do it. I will now show you this way. This is the so-called instant mapping. You can do it here. And when you click here on this green icon, green because, maybe remember, we have the mapping tool, and the mapping tool as well has a green icon. Alright, back to this mapping wizard here. So we start off here on the top, model. This is what Swift was able to read out from the aircraft file. So we see flight vector 767, Iceland Air, okay. Then this is what it actually thinks or has from the previous aircraft I used. So we want to correct this. So let's see. We can start with Boeing 76. So you see you have all the different type of 767 aircraft, and the one we need is the 300, so just select it. There we go, 767-300. Then next, airline code. Does the aircraft belong to an airline? Yes. Yes, it belongs to an airline or Air Force. And then we just have to insert the airline code. And it's important that you insert the ICAO airline code, which always consists of 3 letters, unless it's a virtual airline. Then it may have 4 letters, because in Swift, in the database, we add the letter V like Victor in front of the 3-letter code of that virtual airline. So let's have a look. If you do not know the code for Ice Air, let's have a look. You see, Iceland Air. Now we have it here. But if you don't know it, you can just enter it here in the name field, and it will provide you with all entries that contain these letters. Let's have a look. Ice, you see there is Icebird, Icejet, Iceland Air. There you go. Iceland Air, select it, and that's in there. Let's have a look at some virtual airline, Leipzig Air. There you go, and there you go. You see, it's a virtual airline, and there's a V in the beginning in front of the airline code, which is Lima Hotel Alpha. But let's go back to our example with Iceland Air. Let's select it, and it gives us here the ice. So if you know the code, enter the code, and you're done, you're fine. You can go to next. Let's go to next. So the next code is here, just to confirm that the ICAO code is correct. In this case, it is correct. If you want to again access the entire list of possible codes, just empty these search fields here and this one too, and hit enter, and then you have all types that Swift knows about, from Boeing in this case as well. I didn't purge this one, so now we should have all the aircraft. Yeah, these are all types that Swift knows about. So remember, it was a Boeing 767, and because let's say we don't know exactly which one, add a star and then hit enter, and then you have again all the 767 series, and we know it's the 767-300. And we go on next, and we're coming back to the airline code, but we have already done that in the first step, so we can just keep it like this. And we go next. Now this is an important step. We are on the distributor page. Remember, distributor is the term that defines the person or the company that has created this aircraft or delivery. In this case, we know it's for a flight factor aircraft, so we select flight factor and we go next. And now we can confirm all the settings. So we have these 4 fields like in the normal mapping tool, and we see here distributor, flight factor is correct, aircraft ICAO code 767-300, that's correct, livery ICE Air Standard, and as well here Iceland Air. That's it. Now we can go next. And we have to log into somewhere. In case that you are doing this for the very first time for Swift, you will first have to log in once to the data store of Swift, and this can be done through the SSO, the single sign-on of VATSIM. Just click here on this link, and it will take you there in your standard web browser. So what do we do here? You have to click here on single sign-on, and this will take you to the VATSIM single sign-on page. And you may have to, it will probably, if you haven't been here before, probably the single sign-on page will ask you to confirm that you really want to go to this website and so on. And if you're here for repeated times, then you will see this screen. So we confirm the ID, and here we are. So now you are registered to the database, and you will be able to log in here. Here you have to fill in your VATSIM ID, and here you have to fill in your VATSIM network password. So the one that you as well use to log in with your pilot client or with your radar client. If you do not want to use your VATSIM network password here, no worries. On this page, if you go to change your data, you can fill in these 2 optional fields. You don't have to, but if you do that as well, it's a COM4 item. If you fill in here your email address and then choose a password here, up to your liking, it doesn't matter what it can be, and then you save the changes, then this password will be active, and this password you will be able to use here to log in, and the same is true for the normal mapping tool. If you go here, settings and login, you see it's the same page as well. You can use the same to log in here. Alright, so I will not fill it in here now, because whatever you type in here is shown in letters and not in symbols, so I don't want to show you my password. I will do it on my secondary screen. So I've logged in now, and you see here these are my roles. You will not have that because I'm an admin and so on. Probably you will have VATSIM user and database user, and that's it. So when you're logged in, you can continue with next, and it tells you by where you will send the change data. Yeah, we want to send the change data for the aircraft. So next. And we wait a second for it to be sent. Here, publish request sent, and it has been sent. There we can see what happened. Yep. So all the information is here. And that's it, and you finish it. Now, as you're not allowed to, as a normal user, you cannot map it or publish it right away. You have to wait for one of us administrators to check the requests every day. But we check them, and if they're right, we approve them. And the next time probably you want to fly this plane, this here will light up in green, and everything will be recognized. Because I was able to publish this type of aircraft right away, it will be available now. So let's try it. I have to go here on the mapping tool. I go to database data, and I go here to aircraft models in the database data, and I just click anywhere, right mouse button, and I say reload from backend. Takes a few seconds, and then updating model, and that's it. So let me go back to the Swift GUI, and when we can reload it, it's not good yet. So I shut down the GUI, reload it, fingers crossed it will be green. Let's have a look. Connect, and there we go. And you see, now by magic, aircraft type and airline have been filled incorrectly, no matter what I write here. Of course, we want to use a useful code and call sign for this field. And now I could connect and go flying. But we don't want to do this. So let's go back to our mapping tool, because the same thing that we just did through the GUI, the instant mapping, you can do the same here in the Swift mapping tool. You have to go to your stored own models, and after you have installed a new livery, you need to reload your aircraft models from X-plane. As we know, we click here on force reload X-plane. It will take a few seconds. And there we go. There are a few small error messages, but okay, we can click it away. And now we see I sort the planes here by mode, because we know the these flyable aircraft are in X-plane, they are excluded. And let's scroll down, and because I have added a few other liveries for the 767, and there we go. So we have the Aeroflot, Royal Brunei, and LOT Polish Airlines. So how can we do that? You select those aircraft, all of them. You click on your right mouse button, you go to Stash Tools, and then you select here, this one, Stash Selected. And now these plane connections, these x-csl, they will be put in here. Look here, stashed models. Now they're here. And this is our work area to assign all these things, distributor, type of aircraft, and the airline livery within the mapping tool. First, go down here to this blue line to pull up our work area, and you see these are the same fields that we saw as well in the instant mapping tool. And here, distributor, aircraft type, livery, and airline code. Let's have a quick look here at these airplanes. So this column here, the model, is the same as here in stored own models. Easy peasy. Then you see in the database column, it's empty. It means it's not part of the database yet. because they have not been added to the, or not mapped, we call it, they have not been mapped. The next column is here flags. So the flags are 5 letters. The first letter in M stands for the basically for the model in the database. If it's a small m, it means the database, the model was detected, but it's not part of the database yet. The second letter is D, is the distributor. If it's a small letter, it has not been mapped yet. If it's a capital D, it would mean the distributor has been recognized. The next letter, the A, is the type of aircraft, is this field here. If it's a capital A, it means that the plane has been recognized, the type. And the L, magic, you guessed it already, is livery. Small letter is not recognized. Large L or capital L means recognized. And the last A, the last letter, the A, is the Airline Code. And same rule, A not recognized and capital A recognized. So to see what's going on with these planes, you select one and you just double click it, and then the data that is known will be shown here. And you see the aircraft type, as we see, there's a large or capital A, we see, so type of aircraft has been recognized and it's correct, B763. Now we know it's flight factor, so let's fill in distributor, flight factor, and you see we just have to fill in a few letters. If you go on your keyboard, arrow down, you can choose this one, and with enter, the enter key on your keyboard, you confirm it, and there we go. That's it. Now, before you go here to livery, start off with the airline designator. Let's pretend we do not know the airline code for Aeroflot. Just fill it in here, Aeroflot. And there are several Aeroflots, and we know it's Aeroflot Russian Airlines. Select it, and it's filled in. And once you fill in a recognized airline, it should as well automatically fill in the livery field. So this is good. So you see everything is filled in. So now let's check if it's all acceptable. You click here on the stash button, and you should get 4 green bars. And we got them, you see, 4 green bars. And if you look at the flags now, the flags are DALA, they're all capital. The M will only become capital after the plane has been added and accepted in the Swift database. Now, little trick. If you have several aircraft of the same distributor or the same type, you can shortcut this whole process. So, for example, we know all these aircraft are flight factor. You select both, hold down the control keys, mark the aircraft that you want to edit with the same distributor, and now you right click on any of these selected aircraft and you go to Edit Models, and then you can add the current distributor. Be careful that the correct one is set here in the distributor field on the bottom. So let's do that. And tada, you see these two small letter D's have become already capital D's because we have already assigned the distributor to this plane, or to these planes rather. Now the airlines are different, so let's double click this one to select it, and you see there's no information for the airline. So let's enter lot. We know lot is lot, zack, and then stash, and we got the flags correct here in capital letters, and lot is fine. And then here Royal Brunei, I don't know the code, so let's have a look for Royal Brunei. And there we go, Royal Brunei Airlines, zack, RBA, livery is here, stash it, and you're done. Now the last step is to request to have these published in the database. Select all of them, or all the aircraft that have the flags in capital letters except for the M in the beginning. They are ready to be published. And then you have this button here, publish. And possibly the publish button will be grayed out on your system in your mapping tool. This is because you still have to log in here, and you may want to do this the same way that we did before through the Swift GUI instant mapping. If it's your first time that you are logging in into this, you have to use, as before here, you have to log in once with the SSO for our data store, and when this is done and you have saved it, you either use here your VATSIM ID, use your VATSIM ID and you use either your VATSIM network password or the password that you have created on the data store page here. Don't forget to save the changes before you try logging in the Swift apps. Let me quickly do that. Again, on my secondary screen, I don't want you to see my password. And there we go. I'm logged in. I see all my roles and my info. I can directly update models. You cannot. You can only make change requests. So let's go back here. I press on Publish Directly, and we get this one. And yep, it's all happy. And then remove 3 published models from stash. Yep, so in case you have like 20, 30 aircraft there and you want to publish 5 of them because you're done with these models, then you have them removed so they're not in your way basically. So let's press OK, and they're gone because all of the planes that we published were correct, and they're gone now. So let's have a look here for our aircraft. And you see, no, we don't see. They're probably in the top. So you see here are our aircraft, and they already have here this database symbol, but they're still missing the information here about distributor and airline and livery. This is because we have not synchronized yet our mapping tool, our Swift, with the database. This has to be done manually, or you restart the mapping tool and we will get this result. However, I will do that now. I select all the new aircraft, and I go right click and I go on Consolidate Models, and then I do select it with database data. If you do all with database data, you will compare all models you have here in your model set with the database, but we just want to check these 3 here. And you see it's filled in. You will not be able to do this right away because you can only make a change request. I can show you how it works from the admin side quickly. We have this page, and up here we have change requests, and when I click on this, I see a list of change requests that have been made by users. But at the moment there is none, so I cannot demonstrate anything. But as soon as we have approved your change requests, you will be able to update it here, or it will be done automatically after you restart your mapping tool. And in case that somebody else changes something, the next time you restart your Swift GUI, it may ask you, oh, there was an update for models and airlines and aircraft and whatever. Do you want to update? If you click OK, it will do exactly what we just did here manually with the database pull request. Right? So basically, we're doing fine now. And we could connect to VATSIM. Everything is set. So I wish you nice flights, and if you have questions, as usual, please come to our Discord, ask there. We are happy to help you.